You probably got a whole bunch of unfinished beats just sitting on your hard drive. Those beats could be making money. You're losing out on so much. I know you'll say, "Oh, I'll get to it later." But I know you're not, because it happens to me. I may be making a beat, I'm not feeling it. And then I come back and be like, yeah, I'll just stop. And then next thing I know, I check a year later, that same beat is just sitting in the same spot. Even if I try to open that beat, I really can't, because now it's been past a couple of years. Things have changed. Plugins don't work. I upgraded my system, and now the song don't even sound the same as what I had it before. Now, how many people can relate to having unfinished beats? So it may not only be hurting your wallets and potential earning income. It's something I want you to get used to in sync licensing, and that's being able to finish beats, because it's not about the music and how you like it. It's about how someone else likes it and if it fits their commercial, their scene, etc. The more beats you finish, the more chances you have to get in placements in sync licensing once you get accepted into a music library. Looking at my ASCAP, I have over 3,000 tracks. Now, those tracks are not actually the number that you see, because one track is actually about 5 or 6 tracks. So when you're submitting music to a music library, they usually want alternative versions or alt tracks. And those different tracks compose of the whole beat itself, or mixes like drum and bass mix, or no guitar mix, no string mix, 60-second mix, 30-second mix, stinger. So that one track can yield you 5 to 6 tracks. So even though I have over 3,000, it's not that many songs, but they count each alternate track as a track. Now, if you look at my cue sheets, my songs that actually got placed, I only have 536. And would you look at that? I come to make this video and I have 2 new placements, man. That's so great to see, man. That's such an inspiration when I see those new placements. But anyway, the number is actually lower. So it's not that I have 536 tracks placed, because some of those tracks get placed on multiple shows. Let's look at this track, Boss Up Player. Now, it's been used in 7 shows and played 11 times. So that makes the number of placed tracks even lower. Now, if I try to calculate the percentage of my tracks that gotten placed since I've started making music for sync, it comes out to about 17%. Now, that sounds low, but that 17% has been able to make me make a decent amount of income. Last year, my total income was over $6,000. And for me, that is a good mark. I'm trying to get it higher and higher each year. But 17% sounds low. But I have more opportunities to get things placed. Let's say you only submit 5 tracks a year. Well, how many opportunities do you think you have? If you get no placements, 0%. But the higher you go, the more chances you get. Not saying you will get more placements because you make more music. It's just you have more opportunity to get more placements because you have more music. That's where finishing music comes into play. You don't get to quality without quantity. And I love this one Michael Jordan quote. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. The failure and the chance to take more shots gave him the ability to make more shots. I know it sounds kind of intuitive, but you have to practice. You have to, in order to get to the quality, you need the quantity. That's why I didn't start in sync licensing until about 10 years after making beats. I was just making beats, and that's when I was doing my reps. I wasn't working with artists. I wasn't trying to get into sync licensing. I was just making music. And then I just learned different steps in the way, and I improved. I kept taking those shots. So it wasn't necessarily a failure. Yes, they didn't sound as good as my music does now, but those shots got me into the rep. It got me in the habit of making music. It got me in the habit of finishing music so I can get more shots. So you might be struggling to finish beats. And I want to stop that. I'm not saying this video is going to stop it completely because you still got to do the work. But I want you to be able to get in the mindset of finishing tracks. I'm telling you, it helps your process much easier because sometimes if you get into libraries and you only have 2 days, 3 days to make a track, then finishing it is important, right? I recently had another opportunity to make music for Super Bowl commercials. Now, I don't know if it got placed or not because you don't find out if things get placed later on in the deal most of the time with sync licensing, but I only had 2 days. Now, I only submitted one track, but I did something and finished it. And it was a rap track where I made the beat and I rapped about the song and Super Bowl, about the teams and stuff like that, right? But my ability to finish I knew I was confident that I can finish a song in 2 days, a complete song, instrumental, and my lyrics in 2 days. Why? Because I got the reps to finish a song. So even though I only got one shot at that, I would like to have more, but that's just what the deadline we're working with. And you might get more deadlines like that. So building the reps and being able to finish your music is key. And here are some tips to help you think about the process of finishing music. First tip. I want you to start thinking in song mode. When I first started making music, I would think in loop mode. And this is probably how you think about your music, where the main loop, what you start the 4 8-bar loop is the hook of your song. Then what you do is copy and paste the rest, take out elements, add different things in. Nothing is wrong with that approach because you can still finish music using that approach. But that's where you get stuck as well. You're just going in the loop, looking at the same small 4 bars, and you don't know what to add. So now I think in song mode, and this just comes with practice. Before I even start to make the music, if I have a brief in front of me that tells me what I need to make, let's say it's hip hop, sports with some orchestral elements. Before I start, I know I'm going to need drums. I'm going to need some hard hitting brass for those down beats. I'm going to need some strings. I'm going to need some cymbals, maybe some big loud bang hits, all orchestral stuff. And then I sit and think about a melody in my head. My main melody and riff. Remember, I'm thinking in song mode. And I took this kind of skill from classical music. If you think about classical music, they build on one motif and build it out through the song, right? If we think about the Beethoven's Fifth, the dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun, that's the main motif of the whole song. But it starts off slow. Then when they get into the meat of it, the same thing just speeds up. Dun, 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 dun. That's the same notes, just an octave up and faster. So when I'm thinking of the beat, I'm thinking like that in song. Okay, what's my main melody? Then I think about what will be my breakdowns of my melody. The same way. You can either speed it up, transpose it as another element that's higher to it, right? Thinking in terms of orchestral music. So once I have all my elements in my head, I stick to that idea and I put it down. And oftentimes I don't just make the 4 8-bar loop. I actually make the whole song, right? I have it in my head. Okay, I know I want to start off in the beginning with my drums very sparse. Then I pick it up in the next 8 bars, add maybe some faster hi-hats, maybe some 16th note hi-hats. Then when it comes to the bridge, I maybe take some hi-hats out. And I know for my chorus, I might add some 30-second real rapid fire highs. And that's my whole song. So I built the whole song, my A section, my B section, and my C section. And then all I do is just loop, take that A, B, and C, and repeat it on the back end. So I have my whole song. And I do the same thing for all the other instruments. The same thing with the bass. Take my same motif, just pick out the same notes from motif, make them sparse, build them up, and I'm changing every 8 bars. So that's how it helps me get out of stuck from looking at it in song mode, the whole picture, instead of loop mode from just 4 to 8 bars. Tip number 2, focus less on finding the perfect sound. Now, this is important, especially if you're coming from making music with artists. I get it, because I used to obsess over this. I need the perfect snare. I need the perfect clap. I need the perfect rim shot, the perfect hi-hat, kit, instrument, whatever it is. But there is no perfect. You'll probably come back to that If you finish a beat, come back to it a month later, you'll be like, it's not hitting like I wanted to hit. You're probably always going to find things. I remember watching this one video of Kanye, I forgot which album. He was making something with Timbaland, and he was like, I need another different 808, Tim. And Tim's like, I have thousands of 808s. Thousands of 808s. And that's just one sound. But Kanye is just like, I need the perfect. He doesn't hear it. When the first one he picked could have been the perfect choice, right? So getting away from picking the perfect instrument helps you make things faster, so you're not stuck in searching mode, because your brain will eventually get tired of searching for this thing, and then you lose all inspiration. So what I do to remedy this, I make sure I get, especially for the drums, higher quality sounds and sound packs. So I really like the Native Instruments stuff. There's not an ad for them. I just like Native Instruments things, and they have their expansion packs. So whenever they come out with their 50% sale, every couple years I buy it and I get the new expansion packs. And I really like how they're laid out, where they might have like 20 kits in one. And I challenge myself, if it has 20 kits, to make 20 beats with each kit. Use all the elements in the kit to make a beat before I move on, because they already sound good. So I don't need to layer 3 kicks, layer 3 snares, 3 hi-hats. They already sound good. And then my other plugins that I have in the DAW, they sound good too. And I understand them. I only use a few plugins that I really understand, so I know this sound is going to work well. So I'm making more music and making it less perfect. Now, it still sounds good and up to par as far as mixing and the way the sounds blend. You still have to worry about that, but focusing less on the perfect sound will help you be able to finish your beats. And the last tip, very simple, take a break. Yes, it sounds so easy, but just take a break. But take a break in a different way. Now, if I'm stuck on a song, let's say I'm putting together a 10-track album for a music library, and I'm stuck on a song, and I'm getting tired. What I would do is I'll take a break, but keep the project open. I would not close the project and say, I just make something else. No, I'm committed to this track already, especially if I'm making music late into the night, got my headphones on and I'm tired, go to sleep. I keep it up. So when I wake up, I might have new, fresh ideas. Man, they say weird things happen in your sleep. I don't know if things germinate in your head or permeate in your head when you're sleeping, but sometimes I just wake up and now I got the idea and I finish the track. What I don't want you to do is take a break and close the track, because you're going to say to yourself, I'll come back to it. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because when you think you're going to come back to it, all you're going to think about is how terrible it sounds and how you're stuck. And then what you're going to do, you're going to open up a new project and see a blank DAW staring you in the face, and you're going to be just as stuck again. It happened to me, so I know it's happened to you. So when you're taking a break, keep your projects open. Keep them on the screen and work on that project and commit to finishing it. It's a skill to learn to finish tracks. I get it, man. Stuff gets boring. Stuff, you may not like it. But you have to remember, you need to change the way you think about your mindset when you're producing for sync licensing. I've had a lot of tracks that I didn't even like, but I just got through them, and I was happy I did, because then they got placed. And I was like, wow, this was not a good album that I put together for the client. But for some reason, a lot of tracks got placed, right? I remember this one, they asked me to make some reggaeton music. And I don't really make reggaeton music, but I understand the elements of reggaeton. And I thought they were terrible. I mean, they just, and then the person wrote back, said, these are perfect. They said, these are perfect. And I'm like, what? So after I heard that, I was like, oh, I need to just make music. I get it. You want to like everything. You want to like everything you make. These are your babies. These are your kids. But it's unrealistic. And you don't have to like them. That's the beauty of it. Someone else just needs to like it, and they can do something with it. You never know what can happen from something you didn't like. That one thing, that one song can be life-changing for you. And if you want more tips, more tricks about sync licensing, check out one of these videos.